To talk more about this case and the larger issue of young people going under the knife, let's go across to Dr. Devraj Shom, who is a senior cosmetic surgeon. Dr. Shom, thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. This is a really sad case, a 25-year-old actress going for a for a cosmetic surgery that has gone horribly wrong over here. What do you make of this? What are the precautions that these sort of clinics overlook when doing this cosmetic surgery?
First of all, thank you for having me here. It is indeed a very sad day. A patient, a young lady, has passed away, and it's extremely sad. And I'm sure everyone is sad, whether it's you, it's the medical community, it's the patient's family, everyone has their commiserations. I don't know the details of this case, but so I really can't comment on the specifics. But I would like to believe that every doctor always tries to do the best for their patients. There is also a Supreme Court judgment on this matter, which says that medical negligence cases or medical cases are extremely complex and they need to be referred to a medical board. Unless the medical board really evaluates what has happened in this particular case, the commissions and the omissions in this particular case cannot really be discussed in detail. These are complex surgeries. Sometimes people have comorbidities and sometimes there can be other problems which can happen as well. Whether there was an error or there was actually a negligence, that only time will tell once the medical board has had time to sift through the information. And I would request everyone not to be in a hurry to reach a conclusion and damn the doctor and the clinic even before some of these fact-finding investigations have been carried out by the law enforcement agencies.
Right. Yes, Dr. Shom, the investigation will happen, but talk to us about this larger phenomenon, if we can call it that, of young people willing to go under the knife. Do you get such cases, and what do you tell them?
Well, young people going under the knife, we have to understand that the world has changed, India has changed. There are a whole lot of people now who have disposable incomes, and it's the Instagram, the selfie generation, right? We actually published a paper a couple of years ago, and it was a research paper published in one of the top American journals, which talked about how selfies and getting the likes on the selfies is actually like a dopamine kick. It's like a kick in your brain. It's basically like an addiction. So the title of the paper was, yes, "Are Selfies the New Cocaine?" So from that perspective, what is happening is every pro has a con, and I think smartphones and their cameras today are used more than actually the smartphone for actually talking to other people. So from that perspective, that camera generation is driving people to look better and better. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the way the world is going. We only have one life, and we all want to look younger, full of life, full of vitality. But how far are we willing to go for this? The thing is, there will be accidents, and there can be accidents sometimes, which is why you have a seat belt in place, and which is why you have proper guidance in the cars. You have a brake, you have seat belts, you have airbags. That is to take care of accidents, because accidents won't happen every day. Accidents will happen once in a while, and so we need to take due care. Due care not only as patients, not only as doctors, but also as society, to make some of these young people understand that some of these minor irregularities, if at all, are not that severe and may not need surgery. Because frankly speaking, if all of us looked exactly the same, the world would be a fairly boring place to live in.
Yes, Dr. Shom, yes, people want to look better, want to look beautiful, but for example, the doctors who are conducting this cosmetic surgery, do you doctors guide and counsel these people who come to you and say that you really don't need this? I mean, everyone is beautiful in that sense. Why do you want to look a certain type? Do you counsel them before taking this decision of, or before allowing them to take this decision of going under the knife?
Absolutely. I mean, I think a cosmetic surgeon has a role to first be a good psychologist and to understand the motivations behind the reason why a person is seeking cosmetic surgery. So psychological counseling is very important. Most cosmetic clinics also have a psychologist as part of the initial staff. If we find that someone has borderline body dysmorphic disorder, as we call it, or BDD, as we call it, or has unrealistic expectations, going to a psychologist is something which is absolutely recommended. However, there is also a question of whether the patient has the right to undergo surgery on themselves. If someone's an adult, how do you stop them? You might give them psychological counseling. They may still be dead, hell bent upon getting a surgery done. You may not do it. Someone else may do it. Someone else may not do it. I know of people who've tried to inject themselves with Botox and fillers in order to try and look better. So, from that perspective, it is also a question of choice, right? I mean, as a society, you don't want to be getting into a situation where you take away every smartphone from every person's hand, and you can't have the government turning around and saying this is bad for you. Whether it is good for an individual or bad for an individual, how to use technology, whether to change their body or not, is a decision an adult needs to make. Should a consent be taken before a surgery? Of course, that's a doctor's responsibility. Should a detailed consent be taken, enlisting the risks and the benefits of the procedures? Definitely, definitely. Should a psychological counseling be done? Yes. But at the end of the day, I don't think, we'll be missing the trees for the woods if we tell everyone that doctors should just avoid performing surgery. There is cosmetic surgery available globally. India is fifth on the largest number of number of countries, I'm told, which undergo cosmetic surgery. Medical tourism is also available. People like to travel to places like India, where doctors here provide the best class cosmetic surgery at cheaper rates and can also speak great English. So it has to be a balancing act. I mean, we can't just, yes, it's a sad day. Yes, there has been a catastrophe. Yes, but the question that needs to be asked is how can we get safer? How can we educate our people better? How can we make sure that there are rules and regulations which govern the process better? I don't think it's a question of going ahead and rampantly stepping down and saying no more cosmetic surgery from tomorrow. I don't think anyone will accept that in a democracy.
Yes, that's true. But there are a lot of underlying issues here. Dr. Devraj, for the moment, thanks very much for joining us. As I said, a lot of issues. There's an issue of peer pressure. There's an issue of looking a certain way, but there is no one idea of beauty.